Lesson 41 is about overall averages. Now when we talk about overall averages, we're going to be working with the term average quite a bit. And we've already figured out how to work with that. We know that the average is always the sum of the numbers in our set divided by the number of numbers. Now let's go ahead and look at our first problem. The average of the first two numbers was 6. The average of the next 8 numbers was 20. What was the overall average of the 10 numbers? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to take these first two numbers, then the next 8 numbers to give us a total of 10 numbers, and we're going to find out what the overall average of everything. Now what we have to remember is a definition for an average. Now an average, as we said, is equal to the sum of the numbers divided by the number of numbers. So if we look at this first problem, we're going to have to say how many, or what the sum of all the numbers is, and what the number of numbers will be. Let's go ahead and do the denominator first. We know that there's a total of 10 numbers, so we're going to be dividing by 10. We had 2 numbers first, we had 8 numbers second, total average of 10 numbers. Now we have to find the sum of the numbers. So the average of the first 2 numbers was 6. So the average of those first 2 is 6. So the sum of those two must be 6 times 2, or 12. Because we know the average of 12, if we had 2 numbers, would be 6. The average of the next 8 numbers was 20. So if we had 8 numbers, their average was 20. That's going to have to be 8 times 20. What we're going to do in this to find the sum of the numbers is to say plus 8 times 20. That tells us the sum of all of our numbers in the numerator divided by the number of numbers. So when we go through this problem, we can see we have 6 times 2, that's 12, plus 8 times 20, that must be, well, 8 times 2 is 16, add on a 0, we get 160, and we're going to divide that by 10. Now we know 12 plus 160 is 172. We're going to say 172 divided by 10. It's always nice to divide by 10 because we're just going to have to move the decimal spot in 1. So 172 divided by 10 is going to have to be 17.2. And we've got our final answer. The overall average of those 10 numbers would have to be this. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. The average weight of the 3 largest links was 38 pounds. The average weight of the other 7 links, L, Y, N, there's a spelling type there, that should be an X, that's alright, links was 31 pounds. What was the overall average of the links? So if we want to find out what this is going to be, well, we know how many total links that we have. Links are just a type of wild cat. So it said the average weight of the 3 largest, so we've got 3 to begin with. The average weight of the other 7, so 3 and 7, that must be 10 again. That's our denominator. That's the total number of links that we have in this. The average weight of the 3 largest links was 38 pounds, so we're going to have to say 38 times 3 to figure out what the sum of those 3 links' weight would be. Then we're going to add to that. We're going to look back in the problem. The average weight of the other 7 links was 31 pounds. So we're going to multiply. We're going to multiply 31 times 7. We can go ahead and perform these operations to figure out what our numerator answer will be after we've simplified our factors. So first we have 38 times 3. 38 times 3, well, we've got 3 times 8, that's going to give us 24. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 more is going to give us 11. We have 114 for our first part. 31 times 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. So, in our numerator, we're going to have 114 plus 217. Let's perform that operation. 114 plus 217. Well, 4 plus 7 gives us 11. We're going to carry our 1. We've got 3 ones. And then we've got 3 in our hundred spots. We've got a total of 331. So we've got 331 over 10. Move that decimal point over 1. It would originally be right here. 331.0 is the same thing. Move it over 1 because we're dividing by 10. we get an answer of 33.1. We need a unit in this problem, or a label, because it was a word problem, so we're going to put 33.1 pounds. And we're all done. If you have any questions, go ahead and write them down now. We're going to practice this more with our lesson practice during our next class on page 137. Make sure you've got your notes completed, and I'll see you soon.